Hey Robert.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How you doing?
Well, I just don't know what's going on. No one tell me if I'm under arrest or what the deal is.
Okay, well, I'll be happy to kind of explain everything that's going on, so you're kind of well aware. You doing all right now? You don't have no physical injuries?
Oh, no, sir.
Anyone mistreat you?
No,
Make
sir.
you any promises, threats, or anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay. You know who I am?
Are you Leclerc?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Detective Leclerc?
Yes, sir.
You remember who I am?
Yeah.
Okay. You have any idea what's going on today?
Well, it obviously has to do with the Freedleys, Rebecca and her mom and her stepdad.
Okay. You on probation right now for anything?
Yes, sir.
What are you on probation for?
It was petty theft.
Okay. And that's all taken care of?
Yes, I just finished my community service for it. And, man.
What'd you do, like weekends or something?
Yeah, no, I did it 4 or 5 days a week, 4 days a week. Just got it all out of the way in a couple weeks.
Okay. I take it you're still living on Peacock, right? Who lives all at that address?
Me, my mom, and my little sister.
And how old is she when you say little?
12.
Okay. You have, does your grandma still live across the street?
Yes, sir.
I mean, she physically live there?
Oh, no. It belongs to her, but she actually lives the majority of her time at a house she has in Los Angeles.
Does anyone live in her house across from you?
No. No one currently lives there. It's really just a summer house that she has.
Okay. You're not under the influence of anything right now? You're coherent and everything like that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Obviously we're here because I've been investigating this murder for some time. Some information came to light. I've taken some information to a judge. He reviewed the facts. He kind of agreed with my assessment. Obviously, we had the search warrant for your home. I have a search warrant to collect your DNA. Is that all right with you?
But that's fine. The blood sample or?
No, it's something easier than that. It's just like a saliva sample. You know, you just stick a Q-tip in your mouth and collect a saliva sample from your cheek.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm sure you probably have some questions.
That's something I'd volunteer. Obviously,
Okay.
there's a little more reason for the search warrant, me being detained and everything.
Okay.
Well, and am I under arrest or,
Well, you're not free to go right now because we got a obligation to meet our requirements of our search warrant and obtain certain things. But let me, if you have something to say that could change my mind or my direction, I'm really willing to hear what you have to say. However, because you're at the police station and you've been here for several hours, I am required to read you your rights.
Okay.
Okay. So let me do that. You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand?
I understand that.
Anything you say may be used against you in court.
I understand that.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You have the right to the presence of an attorney before and during any questioning. Do you understand?
I understand that.
If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you free of charge before any questioning if you want one.
Okay. Yes, I understand.
You understand all that?
Yes, sir.
Does it kind of make sense to you?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Obviously, you've gone through the court process before with this
The petty theft.
this
yes.
petty theft thing. What do you think about all this?
I mean, I just don't know what would lead you to believe that, I'm responsible for it. I understand that, speaking with me and everything, just the fact that, I was so, I was close with her and things like that. I understand that. I just don't, I don't understand what, like validates like the search warrant and things like that. I don't understand.
Okay, well, I'd be happy to kind of explain some of those things. Maybe if I can get a little bit personal information from you first, then we can kind of get into that, if you don't mind.
Okay.
You working or anything?
I was working with my uncle for the summer, and then I stopped that when school started, and then that was right about when I started doing the community service. So I just made that. Every day I didn't have school, I did community service. So now, actually, I had a job interview with the county today, but I'm assuming I missed that.
What type of job were you looking for?
I did community service at the Coachella Valley Animal Campus. It's like a county-owned animal shelter, and I guess they had openings for temporary workers, and I was going to interview for that.
Okay. Well, it's been a while since we talked, and I don't know what's changed in your life. I think last time we talked, you were working at the not Soap City. You're not there no more?
No.
Have you had any other jobs since the water park?
Circuit City.
Okay. How long did you work there for?
6 months.
Okay. And where'd you go after that?
After that, I went. After that, it was about. Then there was just a short time where I was unemployed. Then I went to work with my uncle.
Okay.
For a few months, 2-3 months, something like that.
What's his name?
Gregory Pape.
Where does he live around here?
He lives with. He takes care of my grandma, so he's her son. He lives with her, taking care of her.
And did you say that was in LA or something?
It's in Alhambra, which is
Okay.
20 minutes out of LA.
What about you haven't got married since, have you? You got a girlfriend or anything like that?
Yes.
Who's your girlfriend now?
Her name's Sarah Honecker.
Okay. Same person?
Yes.
How long you guys been going out?
Year and a little over 7 months, I think.
What kind of relationship has that developed into?
I feel like it's pretty serious, and we've talked about marriage and stuff like that. But right now we're just trying to get our lives going.
Where does she live at?
She lives in Cathedral City.
Okay. Does she work or anything?
Yes, she works at at the river. It's called Ulta. It's a makeup. They sell makeup.
Okay. What do you do when you're not working or hanging out at home? Like, what's your hobbies and?
I really haven't been up to much. I've really spent most of my free time just hanging out at my house with my girlfriend. I'm a pretty big video gamer, so that's usually, I guess that would be my hobby.
Okay. Last time we talked, you were talking about a career in the military.
Mm-hmm. I'd thought about that a lot, but just with my relationship with my girlfriend and stuff, just getting a little serious, I'm not quite sure I'm going to continue with that. But I have been looking into like law, as far as like I haven't completely figured out where there's correctional systems, there's patrol officers, things like that. I am taking a introduction to administration of justice at the College of the Desert, and I think I'm going to try out the peace officer training course.
Who's your instructor at COD?
Dr. Crap. That was just funny. I was just thinking about. I always forget his name. Clayton Mays. That's what it is. Dr. Clayton Mays.
Do you have any other classes there at the school other than that one?
Yes, I have a psychology of family and marriage, and I also have 2 economics classes.
Well, that should help with your relationship with your girlfriend, the psychology class.
That was kind of the reason she's taking that with me. That was kind of the reason.
Oh, that's not a good thing then. You both are learning the same.
Yeah.
Other than your shoplifting, any other arrests or anything like that?
No, sir.
You have a probation officer?
Not that I know of. They just said I'm on probation.
Okay. Have you've met all your conditions of probation and things like that?
What do you mean?
Were you supposed to do anything else?
No. There's just community service, and then I just have to stay away from Circuit City for 2 years.
You were supposed to get fingerprinted too, right?
I did.
You
Oh no! For the with the petty theft, they the attorney or whatever, lawyer or whatever that was appointed spoke with them, and I guess they were saying that I guess that was just one of the things they decided I didn't have to do.
Okay.
I don't know. She said she talked to him, and she's like, "Oh, you gotta go pay $10 and go stand in line over to Indio and stuff like that." But she's like, "Well, I got to talk to him. They said you don't have to do it anymore."
Who told you that?
The attorney that was appointed to me.
So you had a public defender and
Oh,
they
yeah,
said
public
that?
defender. That's.
All right, well, more specifically, kind of tell me in your own words why we're talking today.
That's what I don't know. I haven't been. No one's really said really anything. Just that they mentioned your name, and so I assumed it was from that case. Brought it up with that officer. He's like, yeah, that's what it pertains to. And that was about it. No one said if I'm under arrest or if I'm not or what.
Well, we're talking about Becky Freely.
Okay.
Okay, and her murder.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's some of the things we're discussing. How do you feel today about talking to me about that?
Like in what way? Like do I like about that case in general, or actually talking to you?
No, how do you feel about, does it make you sad, make you happy? She was a friend of yours.
Well, yeah, we dated for over a year, about a year and 2 or 3 months and stuff, and yeah, we were really close. And when it first happened, it was, it was, hit kind of close, but it, it's just, over time, just like I had a uncle die about a year ago or something, and then, that was bad too, but just a little bit of time. But I guess the worst part now is just not knowing, what happened.
Okay. If you had anything to do with what happened to her, you need to tell me right now.
Okay. Well, I didn't.
Okay. Do you know for sure who did?
No.
Do you have any idea who did?
I've not the slightest idea. The only thing that, I'd spoken with her family, they talked about how her mom and her stepdad were in some kind of serious debt, and they brought up the idea of something about like a loan shark or something, but I'm not saying that's like something I seriously believe or anything. I don't know.
Who told you that?
It was one of Rebecca's sisters, Tiffany.
Do you know Tiffany more, is Tiffany a friend of yours, or do you know her more?
I haven't spoken with her since I broke up with Rebecca.
Okay. What was your relationship with Tiffany?
Well, wasn't really. It's just the only time I ever spoke with her was when I would visit Rebecca when she lived up in Santa Clarita.
Okay. Is there anyone you can eliminate from this investigation?
Well, Kirshen, I suppose he was the only one who was with me during that time.
Okay.
I don't know anyone who would or who wouldn't. There wasn't. I haven't found anyone to have any motive to. I wouldn't understand why.
Well, tell me why you didn't do it.
Why I didn't? Well, aside from the fact that there's no gain for me. I was already broken up with her. It wouldn't benefit me at all. But other than that, I wouldn't kill anyone anyway.
Do you think you're capable of doing something like that?
Killing someone? No. I mean, especially the things I heard. Found her in a wheelbarrow or stuff like that, and it just seems really gruesome and stuff. I wouldn't be able to do that.
Do you actually think it happened the way people say it happened?
I don't know how anything happened. All I know is that she was in the wheelbarrow and 2 other people were in the house. Or actually, I don't even know if the wheelbarrow was outside. I just assumed, but.
Did you ever tell anyone, even jokingly, that you were involved?
No.
Are you willing to take a polygraph to verify your truthfulness?
Well, I mean, I just don't. I just like to know why it is so. Why I'm such a suspect. I'd say, I mean, if we're getting into all that, I suppose that I'd want some sort of legal advice. Some sort of advisor or something.
What if someone had told me that they saw you driving on Highway 74 that day?
I'd say they were mistaken.
Okay. Do you remember that day?
The only reason I remember as much as I do is just because I had said it so many times, before, and it, I mean, I know what I was, things I did. I don't remember times at all, really.
Okay. So with that in mind, you think you could kind of give me a recollection of that particular day? From the time you woke up? Actually, maybe from, your work, because I know you worked that day.
Yeah, I guess that'll be my starting point. I just remember that I worked that day, and I suppose I drove home. I think so. I think I had my car at that time, and before that, I had just gotten rides with Christian. But I suppose I drove home, and I was supposed to hang out with Christian that day, but I hadn't gone to church because I'd worked the morning mass. The church we go to is at 10:30, and we missed that, and they don't have an evening mass. So I was going to try to go out to a mass at Sacred Heart, and as we were driving out that direction, I gave them a call and found out we'd missed it. So we went back over to Christian's, and they were playing games at some point, and then went paintballing.
Well, which church did you miss from the morning service?
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
That's in it's by the Mary Pickford Theater.
Okay.
It's just south of that.
So, do you attend church regularly?
I try to. I try to.
Which is your regular church?
St. Louis.
Okay. So why Sacred Heart?
Sacred Heart is the church that my family and I go to if we don't attend the morning mass, because St. Louis doesn't have an evening mass.
Is St. Louis, I would assume is it a Catholic church also?
Yes, sir.
So you get home from work and you decide to go to church.
Yes, sir.
Did you go somewhere specifically when you left your house?
No, I don't know. When we were gonna go to the church.
Okay, but before going to Christian's house, did you guys go anywhere between your house and Christian's house?
Wait, did we? Oh, no, I don't believe we stopped anywhere.
Okay. You said you decided to go to Sacred Heart. How did you find out there was no service or the service was
I
already
called.
fixed?
I got the number in a phone book before we left, or no, I called 411 on the way, and I called them, and we were driving out there, called, and I was asking what time the mass was, and I still don't remember when the mass was and what time it was, but we missed it, and so I'm like, all right, we'll just go back to your house.
You called on your way there. Where's there?
Sacred Heart?
No, you said you called while you're on the way there.
On my way there.
What's there? The church, Christian's house, another place?
Oh, yeah, on my way to the church. It's called the church,
Okay.
directory or whatever.
Where's the Sacred Heart Church located?
Sacred Heart is on, crap, it's like Cook and something. What's the name of that street that's next to, that runs alongside College of the Desert? I'm really bad with street names. Is it Fred Waring?
Fred
Oh,
Waring?
there's Monterey, and then there's Magnesia Falls that's north of COD, the one that's south of that. It's off of that street.
Fred Waring would be south of COD?
Yeah, Fred Waring, okay. Yeah, it's off of Fred Waring.
Okay. Do you know anybody there?
At the church?
Yeah.
No.
Did you talk to anyone you know, or?
No, because we, like I said, we only go there if we miss the morning mass. So, I mean,
Did you actually talk to a person when you called, or?
Yeah, someone picked up and I just asked them what time mass was, that their evening mass there.
Do you remember where you were at when you made that phone call?
I don't remember.
Could you approximate it?
I really don't. I don't remember at all. Christian was driving and I was playing with my phone, calling 411 and stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with the free 411 number, and you have to. It's one of the it's not a real operator, and you have to like say the name and then it'll. But sometimes it doesn't work the way it's supposed to.
Well, you left your house in Rancho Mirage, correct?
Yes, sir.
And Christian lives in Cathedral City, right?
Yes, sir.
And Sacred Heart is in Palm Desert.
Yes, sir.
So when you left your house, maybe you can approximately give me an idea when you would have made the phone call, within a minute of leaving, within 20 minutes of leaving?
Well, like I said, I called 411 and I really don't remember how long it took me to get the number.
Okay. Did you guys drive to Palm Desert?
I'm not sure where exactly the city limits is, but I believe we entered Palm Desert.
Okay. Do you remember which way you would have traveled?
I really don't remember. I wasn't paying attention to the streets at all.
If you were to drive there today from your house, what would you think would be the normal route you would take?
If I drove there, I don't know. I've tried taking Frank Sinatra all the way out. I've taken 111 tried taking 111 out there, and I've also taken Frank Sinatra to Monterey, gone down that way because that's the way I go to school. So I don't think I would have gone Frank Sinatra all the way down to, was that Cook or whatever? I don't think I would have gone that way. If anything, gone down Monterey or gone taking 111. Oh, and Christian was driving. I suppose we probably took 111 since Christian was driving. I don't think he knows that area as well.
Okay. What car was Christian driving?
He was driving his dad's car. It's an Acura something. I don't know what the model was.
Okay. What kind of car did you drive?
I have an Acura Legend.
Okay. So if you guys are in a car driving to Sacred Heart, and we're trying to get an idea where you're going, where you're at. Are you able to recall a business, an intersection, somewhere specifically that maybe you guys turned around in, stopped at?
I honestly don't remember that.
Did you get gas, go to ATM?
I don't believe we stopped anywhere. I think we were just driving and then we ended up turning around and just going to his house. Okay.
So tell me specifically what happened when you got to his house.
Oh, crap. I really don't remember that day very much at all anymore. I probably should have written it down or something, but I think we just got to his house and we wanted to go paintballing but because the gun that I had I'd gotten it from my friend and it didn't work all that well, and I was going to try to see if I could get it to shoot right. And so we were hanging out at his house and ended up going out there, and we're out there for a while and came back. And
What do you mean by going out there?
oh, we went out to behind James Workman Middle School. There's like that big desert area, but there's a spot where there's a lot of like tables and chairs and a bunch of stuff that people brought out there specifically for paintballing. So that's where we're going out to play with the guns. But yeah, just basically trying to fix my gun the whole time. I think Christian's worked pretty well.
Were you able to use your gun at all?
Oh, yeah, I fired a few, I believe, but I mean it kept leaking air, so it didn't last very long.
How long were you guys at the school for?
We were out there for, I don't remember the time, but I know we were paintballing for a while, and then Christian ended up losing his keys, and then that took a little while too.
Where did he lose the keys at?
He dropped them somewhere. I don't remember exactly where.
Okay. So what happened after that?
We just went home. Oh wait, did we? I'm not even sure if I went back to his house or not, or if he just took me straight home. Maybe. But then before we went to my house, we stopped at a gas station. I remember that because I was getting chapstick for my cousin, and then after that he took me home, and I was hanging out with my cousin ever since.
What was your cousin's name?
Martin Johnson.
Martin?
Yes.
Johnson?
Johnson. Yes.
Where does he live now?
Well, he's going to school up at UC Davis. So, but he's staying on campus somewhere.
At UC Davis?
Yeah, up near Sacramento.
Oh. How old is he?
Oh crap! Probably 23, something like that.
Do you have any brothers?
I have one older brother. I have an older sister and my younger sister.
There's a couple of photographs in your house on the wall. Picture you and probably your little sister. There's another guy in the photograph. Kind of looks younger than you. Who would that be?
Another guy in a photograph? It could be any one of my cousins. I've got
right when you go in the door.
I don't memorize my pictures,
Okay.
but I've got my grandma had 7 children, so
Okay.
our family branched out. We could have been any of my cousins.
He's
Yeah.
in several of the pictures, and you guys.
Wait, does he wear skate clothes a lot?
Um,
Because it may end up being my older brother who actually looks younger than me. He's only 5'7".
There was one picture on the wall with, I don't know if it was your sister or a couple of girls, and they looked like they're like doing some Charlie's Angels,
Okay.
with their
Okay,
fingers
I
or
remember
something.
that picture. And there was some like foliage in the background.
Yeah.
It was like at my grandma's backyard.
I saw you're in the picture, right?
Yeah, it should
Who
be.
was the other guy?
It should be my brother. My older brother. He's 20. Oh crap! No, he's 30 now.
Does he look younger than you?
Yeah, he's only 5'7", and he dresses like he's 12.
Okay. And who are the girls in there?
Yeah, it would probably be my older sister and my younger sister.
Okay, how old is your older sister?
24 or 5.
Okay.
She just had a birthday. I think she's 25.
So going back to after you guys were paintballing, were you guys with anyone else paintballing?
No, it was just us because we were just messing around with the guns.
Did you guys talk to anyone? Anyone come by that you know and hey, what's going on?
Well, no, because it's kind of like back like behind the school almost. So I mean, you're not gonna like see someone driving through the.
Well, I
desert
mean,
or
no other
anything.
paintballers there.
Mm-mm.
You talked to anyone on the phone while you're out there?
I don't believe so. If anything, maybe my girlfriend or something, but I don't know.
I mean, would you typically have your phone with you?
Sometimes, but I mean, we were planning on doing some like, little skirmishes, just us two. So if anything, I'd probably put my phone in the car or something because I wouldn't want to get it all dirty because it's all desert.
Okay. Would you leave your phone on or off?
It's very possible I turn it off.
Why would you do that?
Why would I turn it off? Just because it saved battery. My phone, a lot of times I'll use it to, it plays MP3s, so a lot of times I'll use it to play that, so it runs down the battery fairly quickly.
Do you remember what time you guys finished up?
I don't remember times much at all. The only time I vaguely remember was, I believe my cousin said I got home like 9 o'clock or something, 9:30, something like that.
Why didn't your cousin go with you guys?
I believe he was working on his car at the time. He still has since no one's actually living at my grandma's house, he brought his car down to work on it, and I believe that was his goal, was get that finished. He still actually hasn't done it yet. It's still in the garage.
Is there anything illegal at your house?
There shouldn't be anything illegal. I've got a rifle registered to myself, and the only other thing was there's a shotgun it was my uncle's who had deceased, and even I asked Clayton Mays, my instructor, he should recall me asking that how I would get to register that, and he had given me a name, but I haven't followed up on it yet.
Okay.
So I'd say that'd be the closest thing to be legal.
So the rifle is registered to you?
Yes, sir.
Is that a violation of your probation? Do you have any firearm restrictions?
Well, I had owned it before they got the probation, so I mean I just assumed that they'd tell me if I couldn't have a firearm.
Okay. What kind of rifle?
It's like a World War II era Russian Mosin Nagin. It's a 7.62 by 54. Big, fairly large round.
Does it still work?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said this other one was a shotgun?
Yes, sir.
What kind of shotgun?
It's a Winchester 1300 Defender.
Okay. What gauge is that?
12 gauge.
Where would they be found at? The rifle and the shotgun?
I keep those under my bed.
Okay. And the shotgun, who would that be registered to?
Like I said to Dr. Mays, I'm not even sure if my uncle had it registered, because he kind of just lived out by himself, but I was actually hoping to have it registered to myself soon. Yeah. So I don't know.
So it may or may not be registered to your uncle?
Yes, sir. But I mean, either way, he's deceased, so I don't know if they keep it registered or not. I don't know how that works.
Okay. And his name is what, your uncle?
Theodore Pape.
Okay. What city did he live in before he passed?
He lived out in, it was near Pear Blossom. It was called, I don't recall. I can't remember the name of the city that he lived in, but he lived on someone else's property in a trailer that he had.
Where at? Well, what state?
Oh, California. It's Pear Blossom.
I don't know where that is.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not really sure exactly where it is either.
Southern California, Northern California?
Southern California. I believe it's north of here, but I think it's still Southern California. It's gotta be. It's only a few hours away.
Okay, so what about counties? What county?
If you wanted to ask my mom, she could tell you. I really don't remember all that well.
Anything else?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. You have access to any other weapons?
No other firearms.
Okay.
No one in my family really has many guns,
Okay.
except for an uncle of mine who lives up in Oregon, so wouldn't say I had any access to that.
Okay. You still friends with Christian?
Well, there was. We were really good friends. We kind of drifted apart a little bit when he never really got along with my girlfriend, so that we haven't spoken for a little while.
Okay, well, tell me about that.
Well, I'm not completely sure why, but he just never really got along with my girlfriend, and there was just a lot of tension between him and her, so I always had to like divide up my time between the both of them. And then, but then he had just kind of been kind of a jerk for a while, and I was just asking him to apologize to her, and he didn't want to, and then finally he ended up cussing her out. So I'm like, dude, look, just I don't want to talk to you. But I mean, it wasn't any kind of hostile thing. It's just like, you two obviously aren't working together.
So it's fair to say you guys aren't friends right now?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. But you're surely not enemies.
Yeah, no, there's no. Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell me about the guns that Christian had.
Guns that Christian had? Let's see. There was the only firearm that I'm not really sure that he would have had access to anything. So there was was it a Winchester, like 1300 or something? But it's a newer one. So it's a Winchester Defender or something. That's the only firearm I'm really aware of.
What about your girlfriend, Sarah? Does she have any guns?
I think her grandpa owns something, but I've never even seen him.
Okay. What about her dad or brothers or anything like that?
She lives with her grandparents. I should have stated that.
Okay. What about who's Christian's girlfriend?
Jacqueline.
Okay.
Something.
So what about Jackie? Does she have any
I doubt it.
firearms?
Well, because I helped him move too, and I didn't move any firearms. She just doesn't strike me as the person to have any guns.
So how long have you and Christian been kind of separated?
I'm not sure. I've just kind of been losing track since things. I've just been doing lots of stuff with, there's just a lot of stuff been going on, like with my, like with the petty theft and everything like that. But it was a few months.
Well, that was in July, right? The petty theft?
Probably July.
So it's only been 2 months?
July, September, maybe. Wait, the petty theft, wasn't that in June?
Maybe May or something like that?
It was May or June.
Okay. So what does Christian do with his time?
I really don't even know. Last thing I had heard, he was working at Soak City. I don't know if he still does.
Well, even, say 4 months ago, March,
Same.
April, when you guys were hanging out.
Same thing as me, just playing games and working. But he didn't want to do school, so gave him a little extra time. But
So what's he doing with his life?
I don't know. Last thing I heard, he wanted to keep doing the military.
Okay. And that's what you guys told me back then about that. What's he waiting for?
I don't know. He said that he wanted to go by the beginning of this year, or something like that. Maybe it was the middle of this year or something.
And now we're at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just asking you because you're his friend.
Yeah.
You were his friend. You know more about him than a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why he hasn't got into the military? And
I really don't know. I really don't know. He seemed like that was really, really what he wanted to do, and he seemed more likely to go through with it than me. I really wanted to, but with my things were kind of going along with my girlfriend and stuff. So.
Other than those, the shotgun and the 7.62 you're talking about, any of your other friends have any weapons?
I honestly, Christian was really my only real friend that I really hung out with,
Okay.
and so I haven't really other friends to speak of. It's really just me and my girlfriend and school and stuff like that.
I mean, have you associated with people?
I'll talk.
Parties who have weapons out or anything like that?
No, sir. I haven't even been to a party, and I have no idea how long.
Are you fascinated with guns?
Am I fascinated? They're cool. That's why I got one. I like to have one, but it's, not like insane about it or anything.
Okay. Have you ever, you shot your guns, I would assume, right? Where do you typically go shoot at?
Well, I really don't typically go shooting, but I've gone up to the Thousand Palms. There's like a shooting area that everyone goes to. I don't know if you've seen
I know people go around and shoot in the desert, and I'm just curious whether it's right or wrong, whatever. People own guns to shoot guns, so the best way to be safety conscious of a gun is to know how to use it and maybe shoot it from time to time. I was just curious on, if you did things like that.
I've gone, but I honestly haven't even gone very often because it's been hot. It's finally starting to cool off. I'd like to take it out sometime soon, but it's still a little warm.
What about your girlfriend? How does she feel about shooting and guns and all that?
Well, she likes them, but especially like with the rifle I have, since it's it's like all wooden stock with a metal little butt plate. It's powerful. She can only shoot it like once or twice, and she's got a dead arm for the rest of the day. So, but she likes it.
Well, most girls don't like guns. And
Yeah. Yeah, but that's why she really works with me. She's she likes the video games, and not a lot of the girls do, and she's just.
You ever shoot like a pistol?
Have I ever? I shot. Let's see. I've shot one. Not in a long time. I don't even know whose it was. It was this old. It was a .22 revolver. I'm not even sure who owned it, but no, not in a long time. But I'm gonna have to somehow acquire one for the peace officer class, because you're required to carry a firearm or have a firearm to go shooting with. So I'm trying to talk my brother into getting one.
What about you never shot a semi-automatic pistol?
No.
You know what that is, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know anyone who has one?
No, I don't know anyone who currently owns one. I'm sure maybe my there's a couple uncles of mine. One of them lives in San Francisco. One of them lives in Oregon, and they both hunt, as far as I know. Somewhat often. I would imagine they'd have one.
You ever see a pistol? A semi-automatic pistol in person?
In person, just like just like museums and stuff. Just not really, never really like played with one or anything.
Okay.
Just airsoft guns and just replicas and stuff like that.
Now, you dated Becky for how long?
About a year and 2 or 3 months.
Okay. How often would you go up to her house up in Pinion?
How often? I would say kind of often. Because she spent a lot of her time down in the desert rather than being up there, since she worked down there, and she would often stay with her friends. So I'd say I hung out with her down in the desert more often than I went up to her house. But I've been up there a few times. Gotten lost just about every time. Or one time it was I believe it was our year anniversary. Went up there at night and got my car stuck in. It was actually my mom's car. Got mom's car stuck in the sand because I went the wrong way. I was trying to turn around, but I can't get up there to save my life.
When you say that, what do you mean?
What's that?
You couldn't get up there to save your life.
Oh, well, just as the expression implies, even if like your life counted on it, you'd still end up screwing it up because you're not good at something.
Or you mean because of the roads, or because you don't know the directions?
Well, because it's you drive up a street and then it turns into dirt roads, and a lot of that just kind of, I'd always end up getting lost.
Okay, so if you were to drive up there in the daytime, do you think you could find her house?
Oh no, especially not now. no way.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only
Well, every
2 turns and you're there.
2 turns, there was, say about 4, because I remember I wrote it down, I had a piece of paper in my wallet, and I was, let me know, it's like, oh, turn after, the sign, or one of the turns was, turning after like a little section of fence where they had, llamas, I remember that.
I was referring to the 2 turns after the main road,
2 turns? Yeah, so you take a right and.
You
Oh,
know
there's a couple more.
where Palm Canyon is, right? The dirt road that goes off of Highway 74.
I don't know any of the street names up
74
there.
is the mountain
I know,
road.
yeah, I know that's the main road.
So there's a sign that says, Palm Canyon.
I
It's the one you get
didn't,
into the neighborhood, basically.
I never used the street signs, I always just went off of, like different sites.
You remember a big street with about 30 mailboxes right next to the main street, the
Well,
mountain?
yeah, okay, that would make sense, because
Okay.
they all, the mailboxes are.
Everyone has their mailboxes right there at the main place. You ever drive by there?
Did I ever drive by there?
Yeah.
Well, wait, don't you have to go by there to get to your house?
Well,
Well, then of course I would've.
I don't know. I mean, you can drive down a lot of dirt roads to get places. I'm just saying that's the main road. I don't know what your normal mode of.
Oh, okay, well, I'd imagine that's the one, if that's the way.
So if you pass the mailboxes, then what way would you get to Becky's house?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I'm
mean-
just assuming that the mailbox is that's the street. I
Yeah, it
think
is.
so.
That's what I'm saying. If I drove there, I would drive down Highway 74 and turn down the mailboxes.
Okay, so imagine I'd do the same thing as you. I know
Okay.
it's the street that you turn off of 74 is the same street to get to that like park or reserve or whatever it is right there. It's a little camping area. I know that's the street that you turn off of 74.
Okay. How many times do you think you were at Becky's house during your time?
How many times up there? I don't know, I was up there a few times.
I mean, more than 10, less than 10?
Probably a little more than 10, but probably about 10. Actually, that's probably about a good guesstimate.
Okay.
I mean, ends up being about a little over a 40-minute drive from my house, so.
What do you guys normally do up there?
Watch movies, hang out with her mom and her stepdad would hang around. They cooked a lot, experimented with a deep fryer.
What type of people were Vicky's mom?
Rebecca's mom?
Becky's mom.
Yeah, so yeah, Vicky and John, right?
Right.
They seemed nice. They just, they were, I don't know, they just seemed a little different than me. Maybe, not like hostile to me or anything. They just seemed, just kind of different personality. But they were, we'd sit down and watch movies that would come on and stuff like that. But
Did you guys ever do anything outside the house?
no. Oh, me and the parents? Definitely not.
Okay. What about you and Becky?
We'd run around and play with, there's like plants that you kind of like pull the tops off and you kind of make a little sword out of it. We'd done that before, but that's really it.
I mean, there's a lot of property up there.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys ever go shooting up there or anything?
No, I wanted to because she had told me that her stepdad owned guns, and he had spoken with me about taking me shooting, and I wanted to. That was before I had my rifle. I hadn't gone shooting since I was like a little kid, so I was wanted to try it.
What type of guns did he have?
You know what? He showed me them once, and he had some sort of revolver, and then there was a few rifles. I know he said one of them was a pellet gun, one of them was a .22, and then there was a couple other big ones, but I don't know what models they were or anything, because I only saw them one time.
What else did you and Becky do up there? Did she have dirt bikes or anything?
No, it was mainly inside.
Okay.
But we really just watched a lot of movies. She had a pretty big movie collection. We could go through that a lot.
Well, what's this deal with all this hiking business?
She had invited me to go hiking, and I had told her I would, and I didn't I wasn't planning on going because I knew she would have kept on bugging me, so I just said I would, and then I was planning on just, canceling, last minute, and then, then she didn't go hiking with whatever guy she was going hiking with or whatever, and yeah, that was it.
And when was this?
When was it? Wait, when was?
You were telling me about a hiking event. I'm
Oh.
asking you when that was.
Well, that was the thing. That was when that was the night we were supposed to go hiking, and it was supposed to be me and her and some other guy who I don't know, and that was the night that happened.
That what happened?
She was, that they were all good.
Okay. Tell me about this other guy.
I don't know. I honestly can't remember whether she said he was a Marine or if I just assumed he was, because that's who she associated with a lot. I'd heard about her and one of her sisters going and hanging out at the Marine base, the 29 Palms Marine base, kind of a lot, hanging out with the Marines there. So I like I said, I'm not sure if he actually was or not.
Did Becky ever tell you of a specific person she was dating, or?
No, she didn't. The only clue that I could have as to who it was that Javier, I don't know if you've spoken with him, I'd imagine you would have. He was like Rebecca's best friend. He said that like an actual son of John, like a son from a previous marriage or something like that, was actually supposed to go up there. So, and I guess he was supposed to be there that day or something. So that's who I imagined she was going hiking with.
So it would almost be her relative if John was related to her.
It would be her stepbrother or something? Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, is that what your opinion is, or is that what Javier's telling you?
Javier said that he was supposed to be there.
Okay. And this is Javier's telling you this?
Javier told me that because he called me the morning after that night, because I guess he had spoken with her, and so as far as she knew, she told him that I was supposed to be with her. So he calls me. He's like, oh, what happened? He tells me what happened. He's like, well, wait, were you with her? And I said, no, he wasn't, or no, I wasn't. And then he said that there was supposed to be the other guy there too. But that was when he said there's only 3 bodies that they had found, and he wasn't sure if maybe one of those was the stepbrother or what.
How do you know Javier?
Javier, I had gone to school with him. I went to middle school with him too, I think. And his mom is Bonnie Garcia, the assemblywoman, or I'm not sure what her actual title is or whatever. But
Well, certainly you don't know him because of his mom's being an assembly person.
yeah, no, but I know him because I went to school with him.
Okay. Are you guys friends?
I haven't spoken with him in a little bit, but I mean, if I've seen him around school and I've said hi.
Okay. Is this school as in high school or college?
College now.
Presently? Okay. When's the last time you seen him?
I don't think I've seen him since a semester ago or something.
Okay. Well, last semester would be prior to June, or is it?
Yeah, that's why I'd say
semester?
I haven't spoken with him in excess of 5 months, something like that.
Okay. Do you guys have each other's phone numbers?
I don't know. I might still have his number.
Okay. I was just curious. You say he called you.
Yeah, he did.
Why would he have your phone number?
Well, like I said, I had his phone number at one point,
Okay.
but I'm not sure if I still do. So he had my number too.
So you guys are good enough friends that you.
Yeah, we had each other's phone
Have each
numbers.
other's phone
The other thing also was that I had done a school project with him, and so we had to have exchanged numbers because I went over to his house and we worked on a school project.
Do you guys hang out with each other?
That was the only time that I've actually spent time with him out of school.
when you did the project?
Yes, sir.
Did you two and Becky hang out?
No, I think when I was hanging out with Becky at one point, a couple times we've seen him around and say hi to him, but we've never like all hung out.
So let's forget about what Javier said.
Okay.
Okay, but going back to the night Becky was killed,
Okay.
you're telling me something about this hiking trip. Why did you think someone else was going to be there?
She had said that she was trying to get me to go hiking, and I didn't particularly want to go. We had broken up since, and she was, I was kind of in the process of, like I'd speak with her once in a while, but I was trying to make it, fewer and fewer calls, and she wanted to go hiking, and then she included there that there was some other guy who was supposed to be there, and I had no idea who it was. I'm like, oh yeah, I can go.
Did she say who?
She didn't say who, but like I said, I couldn't remember if she had said that he was a Marine or if that was just in my head.
Who did she invite to go up there?
Me.
Okay. Anyone else?
Some other guy. That's what I don't know.
Okay. Well, where does Christian fit in with this?
Christian doesn't fit in with a hiking trip.
Well, remember when Becky came over to
Yeah.
Christian's house?
Yeah, I was at Christian's house.
Right.
So I guess that'd be the only time he fits in anywhere.
Okay, so when Becky, this was the day before the murder.
When she came over?
Right.
Was it? I believe it was, but I wasn't sure.
Becky called you and said she was in the area and you were at Christian's house.
Yeah,
and
she
came
said
over?
that she was doing some homework or something with a friend of hers or something. She said she just wanted to stop by and say hi or something. And I'm like, well, I'm over at Christian's. And
Okay. So when she got to Christian's house and talked to you, was Christian present?
I think Christian walked out, and I think he just said hi, and I think he walked out one more time to say bye or something, but I'm not sure if he was... If he was there, I don't think he was standing there the whole time. I can't remember.
Was he involved in the hiking conversation?
No. No, there was...
Were you going to go up to Becky's house with Christian?
No, I wasn't.
Were you going to go up to Becky's at all?
Well, I wasn't going to.
It was never your intent to
It
go
was
up there?
never my intent to actually go hiking.
Okay. Did you lead Becky to believe that you and Christian were going to go up there together?
No. I don't believe so. I believe I just said I was just going to go.
Yeah. So why would other people believe that you and Christian were the ones going up there?
I'm not sure. I mean, I guess suppose it's possible that maybe he was included since he was there, but I, as far as my recollection, I thought it was just me.
Does Christian know who Becky is?
Well, I had dated her for that period of time, a year and 3 months, and he's been my friend since like 6th grade. So
Okay, so he knew Becky.
yeah.
Was he friends with Becky?
He never hung out with her or talked to her unless it was through me in some way. But
Okay.
the three of us have hung out before.
Okay. So, did you ever call Becky and tell her you weren't coming up there?
I ended up speaking with her, and I said before when I'd spoken with you how it happened. I don't remember. I can't remember if she called me first or if I called her first, because that was all somewhere around the time I was calling the church. But I don't remember how that went. But I had said it before, so I never thought of writing it down.
Okay, so did you tell her that you weren't not coming up there?
I at some point did tell her that I wasn't coming.
Okay. You positive about that?
I did tell her eventually that I was not going to go hiking with her.
Okay. And when you told her that, was that in person or on the phone?
It was on the phone.
Okay. Whose phone?
My phone. Was it my phone or? Well, darn it. Well, because I believe, since I used the 411 number, It's possible that I used Christian's, like I got the number on my phone and then called on Christian's phone. So I'm really not sure which phone it was.
You got what number?
The number for the church.
Okay, but what does that have to do with?
So I'm not sure which phone I had ended up talking to her with, because I remember her, I think she ended up calling back because she wasn't happy that I had canceled. And I think she ended up calling back on Christian's. So I think the first time I spoke with her was on my phone, and then she called back again on Christian's phone. I believe. I'm not gonna.
So when you had this conversation with Becky, where were you at?
I was driving over to the church.
Okay, so
So
obviously
I'd
you were on a cell
imagine-
phone, right?
Yes.
Okay, you didn't use your home phone.
No.
Christian have a home phone at his dad's place?
Yeah.
Are you guessing or what?
Yeah, he's got a home phone at his dad's house, yeah.
Because his dad told me they didn't have a home phone.
Oh, okay, well, I thought they did.
Well, that's what I asked you, if you're guessing or you
Oh,
know
well,
that.
I just assumed they did. I mean, but I don't think anyone used the home phone anyway.
Okay, well, you're not sure about things, so I'm trying to clarify things.
Okay.
Okay. You've had this conversation with Becky.
Mm.
Okay, and it seems kind of important. And I'm just trying to find out if you called and canceled, or if that was your intent and you never got around to it.
I know that I did end up canceling, but I don't remember if she called me or I called her. And I don't remember using Christian's phone at all. Yeah, especially his dad's phone. I don't believe I did.
Do you know Becky's phone number?
Not anymore.
Okay. Did you memorize it before, or do you just hit your, her name on your cell phone and click call?
I probably, I imagine I knew it.
Okay. So if you were to call Becky, would you type in her number, or would you just scroll down to her name and hit enter?
On my phone, I've got her saved as it was saved as one of the quick dial numbers. So I just pushed 8 or something.
Okay. So what speed dial? What was she?
I don't remember.
Okay. Is she still in your phone?
No, she's not.
Okay. What number would this be? Her cell phone, home phone?
I had her cell phone and her home phone because her cell phone, it wouldn't get service up in an area.
Okay. What about Christian? Does he have her number?
Now or then?
Then?
It's possible. I'm not sure.
I mean, would you give him your girlfriend's number, or?
Probably would, in case, because he doesn't usually answer numbers he doesn't recognize, so it would make sense that he would have her number. But
Cell phone, home?
if he had one, he probably had the other, just because sometimes if she was ever going to call him for whatever reason, sometimes she called him to get a hold of me. It would be from her house phone if she was up in Pinion, because she couldn't use her cell phone.
Have you ever hiked with her before?
We've walked around. We've never actually gone hiking.
Okay. So
But that was another thing that we had spoken about doing. We wanted to go shooting and we wanted to go hiking, but we never actually did it.
where would she go hiking at?
Just around her house. She had told me about when if you're standing at her house, if you look back, there's some mountains that go up. She says she'd multiple times she'd walk all the way back there and back, and she said she'd do that sometime.
Did you ever walk back there?
We never actually walked that far.
Okay. Earlier you mentioned something about a wheelbarrow.
Yes.
What was the deal with that?
Well, Javier he called me and told me that there was a body in a wheelbarrow, and he later told me that it was her body.
Okay. Have you ever seen a wheelbarrow at her house?
I don't know, there's all sorts of tools. They had a little tractor and things like that. I imagine there would be a wheelbarrow. But I don't believe I've personally seen it.
Okay. So if you haven't personally seen it, then it's fair to say you've never touched it?
I wouldn't imagine, but I've played around in their garage before, just because there's a lot of he had a lot of power tools. I know if I've played with the different tools. Some are power tools, some are gasoline.
Right, but there's a difference between tools and a wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
You know what a wheelbarrow is, right?
I know what it is, but like with the phone thing, I just assumed. I'm not gonna say I never touched it, because it's possible that I've touched it before.
How could it be possible if you never recall seeing one?
Well, I mean, things can be somewhere and you don't remember it being there.
Surely you remember a wheelbarrow.
Well, I mean, I don't know what their garage looked like after the fire. It could look like, in the pictures I saw like online, it looked like that side wasn't the garage side wasn't as burnt as bad. So I don't know if the garage is okay. But if you've seen it, there's a lot of stuff in the garage. So it's kind of like my grandma's garage down here. There's a lot of things in there, and I'm sure I've touched a lot of them and couldn't recall it being there.
You know what DNA is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm talking about not DNA from years ago. I'm talking about DNA and fingerprints that are left at a crime scene.
Okay.
You know, that's stuff that you say, hey, this is stuff that's left now, not from 6 months ago or 12 months ago and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
So she died on a particular date. Okay. We processed the crime scene for evidence. Okay. And certain evidence was collected. Okay. And that evidence tells us certain stuff, and it even gives us time frames. Okay. So would your DNA or fingerprints indicate that you were at that house on a day?
You're asking me?
Yeah. That she died?
No, it would not be there.
Okay. Do you know of anyone else that maybe told you that they were up there?
No, there's the only person that I would, imagine that I had heard about was either like the stepbrother or some Marine or something, but no one really told me that they were supposed to be there.
Okay. Now, you mentioned about Becky dating, the Marines or whatever. What makes you think, why would she invite you up there if she's inviting someone else that you don't know up there?
I believe that she still had feelings for me. I was the one who broke up with her, and she didn't like that. And I moved on. I had gotten my current girlfriend, and I'd moved on and everything, and I was trying to slowly kind of just shut off contact with her, but she still wanted to hang out with me.
Okay. So, why would she invite you up there and invite someone else that you didn't know?
I don't know.
I mean, that wouldn't impress you, would it?
It wouldn't. The only thing I could imagine would be that she'd want to make me maybe jealous or something, but I mean, okay. I'm only speculating. I don't know why. That was, it seemed odd to me at the time, and it's kind of another reason why I didn't want to go.
Becky had feelings for you. Did you have feelings for her still?
She was a big part of my life, and I couldn't just cut off everything, but it was, I was in the process of moving on. Definitely there wasn't as much feelings as there was, earlier.
Okay. So let's take the 7 days prior to her death.
Okay.
Because I understand, you guys broke up, January of 2006?
So we broke up in January, that would make sense.
Do you know when she died?
September, because the year
anniversary
just came around. No, I don't know.
Okay. So, in those 9 months, have you guys communicated, or what was the relationship in those 9 months? Specifically, say September. I'm sure February maybe you guys talk more than September, or vice versa? So tell me how that worked.
I think the time that I had spoken with her, like the night before or day before or whatever, before the murders, whatever happened.
It was a murder.
Okay, all right. Then I hadn't spoken with her in a good amount of time, because I was, like I was saying, I was trying to slowly stop the communication, just kind of move on.
I don't know what you mean when for your time frame, a little amount of time.
Okay, I honestly don't remember the last time I had spoken with her before that. It was probably more than a month.
Did you talk to her on the day she died?
The day? Yes.
Okay. How many times do you think you talked to her on the day she died?
I believe once.
Okay. Did you see her that day?
No, not that day.
Okay. The day before she died, you talked to her in person at Christian's house?
Yes.
Okay. Did you? And I know you said she called on the phone before she got to Christian's house.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's 2 communications that day. Did you guys have any other conversation that day?
Wait, 2 communications that day? Wait.
She called you, said I'm in the area, and I'm gonna come by. Then she showed up at Christian's house.
Okay.
So you guys had 2 conversations.
Okay, yes.
Okay. So other than those 2 conversations, did you talk to her at any other time on that day before she died?
I don't think so, but I mean, I guess it's always possible that, it's like, oh, she called to say something real quick or something, but there shouldn't have been any other, like, detailed conversations.
What about that day before? 2 days before she died?
I don't believe I spoke with her.
Okay. I mean, because if you talk to her one time, you may not remember. Could be insignificant. But if you talk to her 20 times, obviously you would remember,
Okay.
So that's what I'm getting at.
I don't believe I did. But I don't remember. It was, some time ago.
Okay. It's not going to serve us much purpose if we talk about things and we just get a whole bunch of I don't remembers.
Okay,
Obviously,
well,
that's why.
But then again, I don't want to say something that's clearly wrong, so.
Sure.
I mean,
I don't want you to do that either.
I was trying to be, like, honest about the phone thing. I assumed he did, it just would be weird to me that he didn't have a phone, but I guess he didn't then, so.
And I can relate to that, Robert, because that's why I'm not here assuming things. Isn't that fair?
Wait,
On your behalf?
say that again?
I said I'm not assuming things,
Okay.
and that's fair for you, because if I don't know something, I'm asking you specifically. I don't want to sit here and assume something, because I could be wrong in assuming something that you're not talking about.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm trying to be specific, so we're not miscommunicating. So don't take my specific questions the wrong way. I want to understand what you're talking about. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to find out about you guys' relationship prior to her death. Have you guys communicated? Have you guys, was it 1 or 2 phone calls? Was it 20 or 30 phone calls?
I mean, it wasn't in any way a bad relationship. There was no reason, there wasn't any kind of like hostility or anything like that. It was just kind of like a relationship.
Do you guys text messages? Use text message?
I imagine we would.
Okay. The night she died, you talked to her. Did you ever call her and not get a hold of her?
Did I call her and not get a hold of her? Well, I mean, it was, since it was the house phone, sometimes they wouldn't pick up. I couldn't, rule that out.
Well, you
I
have an answering machine, you left a message. Maybe you called her on her cell phone. You left a message on her cell phone.
I shouldn't have left a message on her cell phone that day. I don't think so, because unless I thought that she was supposed to be down in the desert, but I believe I knew that she was up there.
Okay. So if you thought she was in the desert and you called her on her cell phone and she was home, obviously her phone went answer.
Yeah, it would go straight to her answering machine.
Would you leave a message?
Would I, if I thought she was down in the desert? Yeah, I'd be like, oh hey, call her or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
So if you're going to cancel your hiking trip, would you call her cell phone or her home phone?
I would call the phone to where I thought she was, and I believe I would have called the house phone because I believe that she was up there. I believe that's what my mindset at the time.
What time were you supposed to go hiking?
We didn't have. I remember speaking with her. She just said after work, and I said, after work, we gotta get, take a shower and stuff like that. So it's obviously going to be sometime after that. But I don't remember if we set a specific time.
After your work or her work?
My work. I don't think she worked that day.
Okay, so you got off work at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, right?
Yeah, that would make sense.
Okay. So what time would you call her in order to cancel? I mean, she would expect you at some point.
Yeah.
Daytime, nighttime?
If anything, it'd probably be a little bit later because I think I was trying to kind of just save it for the last minute, just kind of like, oh, this something just came up real quick or something. So I believe, if anything, I would have saved it till a little bit later.
Okay. So what time do you think?
Well, we were late for church and stuff, so about 5 or 6. It'd actually have to be, after 6 or something. I guess it'd be between 6 and 8 or something.
Okay.
But I thought 8 seems too late anyway, so I'd imagine it was before that.
Okay, well, the only thing before 8 and after 6 would be 7.
Okay, I guess that seems like a fair number, right, that I would guesstimate.
So it'd be fair to say that you would have called Becky around 7 to cancel because you would anticipate she would have been home at that time?
I'd imagine, yeah, I'd say that would seem fair.
Okay. So would there be a telephone record of you calling her cell phone at 7 o'clock?
There should be. Obviously you've got the records, and I never.
There should be? No, I said her cell phone at 7 o'clock.
Should I have called her cell phone at 7 o'clock?
Would there be a record of you calling her cell phone at 7 o'clock?
It's possible if I thought that she was there, but
Well, why would you call her cell phone if you thought she was home?
that's what I'm saying. I believe now that my mindset then was that I knew she was up there, but it's possible she wasn't. I didn't know. Maybe I was calling her cell phone just in case or something.
Okay. There are some issues that we need to resolve about all this. Okay. And there's a lot of maybes and not sure.
Okay, well, I think that within the year that it's been, that would seem understandable.
Okay. If you're,
If I asked you like who called who and at what phone number you called the person a year ago, obviously you're not gonna remember unless it was significant, like, what had happened and had been questioned about it. But even then, it's been about a year.
okay. Is Becky's death significant to you?
Well, yeah, like emotionally, or what is it? I
Significant.
yeah, it was a horrible thing that happened.
Okay. I would think you would want to do everything in your power to help find who did this to Becky.
And I'd like to, I would, if I could help out, and I'm trying to remember, but.
Okay, so you would want to help me find out what happened to Becky and who did this?
Yes.
Would you do everything in your power to do that?
Yeah, if there's anything, I could ask someone, or, if there's someone you wanted me to talk to or something, I'm not really sure what you mean by that, but yeah, if there was a way I could help, I would.
Okay. Is there someone that you know that I could talk to?
The only person who I would know who had contact with her would be Javier. I'd say Javier, because I believe he spoke with her on a regular basis, like daily, every day or other day or something. So he would be the only other person.
Okay.
I didn't really know much of her friends.
If the first time that you talked to Detective Michaels, do you remember talking to him in this room?
Yes.
And he was asking you about, all this stuff about Becky?
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned that you were going to go hiking with him, or go hiking with Becky?
Yeah, I was supposed to, yes.
Okay. But you didn't tell him that you canceled.
I thought I did.
But you didn't.
I didn't tell him that I did cancel. What did I say? That I never spoke with her, or?
No, you just didn't. You just blew her off, basically. You didn't intend to go.
Well, because I believe I remember talking about her calling, I believe she called Christian's cell phone after that because she knew I blew her off. Somehow, I believe.
Why would she call Christian's cell phone?
Because if she was trying to get a hold of me, Christian would be the only other person to get to, because I'm usually.
Why would she try to get a hold of you?
Because obviously if I wasn't there, or I hadn't talked to her, what happened, then obviously she'd want to get a hold of me and find out what's going on.
But didn't you just tell me you talked to her and canceled?
I believe I did.
So why would she call Christian and try to get a hold of you?
Because I believe I called and canceled and she wasn't happy about it, so she called Christian to get a hold of me because I believe if I had stopped talking to her, maybe she called me and I didn't pick up or something.
Okay. Alright, you want a drink of water?
My mouth is a little bit dry, but I mean, I was just.
We're almost done.
Okay.
I got a few more things, Robert. You're saying the shotgun you got from your uncle.
Yes, sir.
I don't remember what you said it was a brand. Was it the 1300 or?
I believe it's a 1300, Winchester 1300.
How long have you had that?
I haven't had it for very long. You can ask my brother Joe. It's actually, his real name's Philip, everyone just calls him Joe.
Okay.
You can ask him that because he...
Well, save me the trouble and just, give me
I've only had it for no more than 2 months.
Okay. And then the 7.62, how long have you had that?
I don't know. It was a long time. I'd say a year.
Okay. Have you had it before you registered it?
No. I got it from a Big Five.
Okay, so the registration date is the date you bought it from Big Five?
Yes.
Okay. Has Christian ever shot your two guns? Your shotgun and your
He's never shot the shotgun. He has shot the Mosin-Nagant.
Have you shot his weapons?
I shot the shotgun one time.
When was the last time?
It was when he first got it, and that was a good deal of time ago. So I mean, I guess you'd have to. I couldn't even say when it was.
Okay. They found a holster at your house.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, whose holster is that?
That is mine because I was hoping to get a Glock for the class, peace officer training class.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, but if you want to verify, you can verify with my brother. I'm trying to save up money, and it's really going to be his, but I'm going to use it for the class.
What caliber are you looking at?
I was looking at the Glock 22. It's the full size 40 caliber because it's. I just heard it was just what the police officers are using now, which is a little more powerful than the 9mm, but it's. I guess it's just a little more powerful than 9mm, but I don't really know much about it.
Have you ever shot a 40 caliber?
No, sir.
Christian had mentioned something about you guys are going up to Becky's for a cookout.
Cookout. When was that? When was it supposed to be?
When you guys were going hiking.
Really? Well, okay. I don't recall it. I really don't recall a cookout.
Okay, is there something else to that?
If anything, maybe that had to do with a hike, and I honestly didn't think that maybe he was supposed to go, but maybe I had said that he was going to go or something, but I don't remember anything about a cookout.
Okay. Did Christian's dad, John, you know him?
I know
pretty well.
Just because he's my friend's dad, but.
Okay, he said he kind of knew you pretty well.
Yeah, we watched movies and talk like that.
Okay.
Talk things.
He was kind of under an impression that both you guys were going up there too.
You thought we were actually going to go up there?
You and Christian. Where would he get that from?
I don't know where he would get that impression.
Okay. Was there some conversation that you guys had that maybe other people thought you guys were going to do something that you didn't actually intend to do? Like go up there?
No, we never had the intention of actually going there.
You ever heard of like pro-life Catholic ministries?
Pro-life, against abortion. I'm not sure if that's like a specific group, but pro-life Catholic ministries.
Well, you're Catholic.
Yeah.
And they have this.
People, boycott abortion and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, there's this Catholic group who go around the local churches here, the Catholic churches, and they train the volunteers, about, pro-life, teenage pregnancies, things like that, maybe even assist with, troubled teens or things like that.
Okay.
You have that at your church?
There's people who are involved in it. My mom is involved in a program. It's called Magnificat. I don't know what all that consists of, but
Some of this organization is probably the main, diocese in San Bernardino. Their groups probably come around, they pass out their business cards, they go to your church, Sacred Heart, You ever seen any of these business cards?
a business card. I mean, I don't know.
Well, they say pro-life ministries on them.
I don't recall, but I mean, I would imagine, maybe I've seen it, but I just don't recall seeing it, but
I mean,
just a business card, I don't know.
well, it's just not a business card. You're 19 years old,
Yeah.
okay? You go to college. You tell me that you've explored a career in law enforcement. You've taken this class.
I'm taking it now, yes, sir.
Okay, so these aren't just general questions. These are things that maybe you know the answer to or you don't. Okay, so if there was a business card with your fingerprint on it that said Pro-Life Ministries, would there be a reasonable explanation for it?
It would make sense because my mom is involved in pro-life, things like that. So I wouldn't.
It would make sense that your mom's fingerprint's on it, but I'm asking you about your fingerprint.
I've helped out with the different things. I've gone and do little protest things, like go stand in front of the abortion clinics and things like that. I've passed out flyers and stuff. I mean, if a business card was part of that, then I'm not ruling out that I wouldn't have touched it. It would make sense if my fingerprint would be on something like that.
Okay. Was Becky involved in that?
Pro-life? I don't believe so.
I mean, would you have conversation with her about it?
I know we've spoken about it. I don't think she's ever done anything that involved stuff like that. I don't remember.
So would you give her a business card?
Maybe I would. I've got things like that that
Robert, you telling me that you're kind of involved in it?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't actively.
But Becky's not. You would remember if you gave Becky a business card related to this pro-life abortion stuff, okay?
I don't know why I necessarily. Recently?
Okay.
I don't know why I would have given her a card like that. I really don't know why I would have.
Well, I'm asking you, would you have or would you not have?
I'm not saying it's something I'd never do. I mean...
Well, certainly you would remember if you did.
Well, I don't know why I would necessarily remember something like that. Why is that such, it's not like a significant event. It's just...
Well, Becky's death, okay? Becky's murder is pretty significant.
But I don't know how that makes a business card a significant
Well,
thing.
a business card about, pro-life and things like that, you're involved in it, she's not.
Okay.
You would remember
Why would
you give it to her.
Why would I remember that specifically? I mean, it's a business card.
You
so it has
remembered a
something-
lot of things that weren't significant about all this.
Like what?
All sorts of things. We've talked about things for all sorts of things that you remember, calls and conversations and places. They had no significance, but you seem to remember that.
I do remember that because they were significant, because those were things I was questioned about before.
Okay.
I was never questioned about a business card before. So it's not something that I would retain from a year ago. Calls and stuff, that
The
was
truth you retain, not other questions. Okay, other questions and answers, okay, that's, he said, she said. The truth doesn't change. You agree with that.
Okay, the truth doesn't
Lies constantly change because it's hard to keep up with lies. I'm kind of concerned with your fascination with, with guns and death. I mean, I've seen the posters on your wall.
Yeah, different video games. It's like action-type video games, and it's not necessarily an obsession with death.
Well, posters, the pictures, whatever. It just doesn't seem like someone who's involved in taking law classes and things like that.
I don't believe that in any way demonstrates a person's criminal activity because
It just shows your personality.
okay, and if you look at it, there are, there's, I mean, you've seen like pictures and stuff and videos of people who are in the Marines who go in there, you hear them, hoo-ah, but then they're kneeling in front of, the chaplain or whatever. They're religious, but then they're still there to do something that a lot of people aren't willing to do. So I don't think that you can be faithful to God and, like things that have to do with death, like the Marines and stuff like that. So I don't see how that demonstrates any kind of malintent. That just doesn't make sense to me.
I'm not saying a religious person can't be in the armed forces.
Okay.
The Marines aren't about death, are they?
Well, what is it they do? They're, I mean, you hear all sorts of things, like God sort them out and stuff like that, different like slogans. I mean, they're the armed forces. What do they use their arms for? It's for.
Well, how long has the armed forces been around? Many, many years.
As long as arms have been around. Yeah.
And the wars have been small and few in between.
Okay.
How many people have been in the military and never gone to war? Okay. Not even talking about killing people, just gone to war. Okay. So many people. So being in the armed forces isn't about death. Okay. Most of the people never even seen death.
That's
okay.
True.
And if you take out the present war, you would have a good percentage of these people who never been involved in death or seen death. Okay. So I'm just getting at your personality with what I could see in your room. Okay. If you're a job applicant for a police department and they were coming over to